Hello and welcome to a Brit Reacts to Bollywood, and I really want to thank you so much for last week's responses to the video of Vijayanthamala and that incredible film with Sunil Dutt. What unbelievable performance, and it's really put me in mind of the real golden era, you could say, of Bollywood that began in that period of the 60s, and just what is achievable in a film, in cinema, the treasure that you have in India. As can happen with YouTube, it happened this time where YouTube said for copyright reasons they insisted that I edit the video to such an extent that I was just about happy, on the verge of unhappiness with it. I published it, and then almost a whole week later they blocked the video again, and I had to edit it even more to republish it. So it's still there, but you'll have to imagine a lot of my momentary reactions during the video, but that was a completely honest reaction after it. And I really appreciate all of your comments and feedback and all of the wonderful, interesting things you had to say about the dance styles and things like that. I believe some people have said on the comments that it's Bharatnatyam, which I think is the correct pronunciation, and that it's a southern Indian dance, mainly in Tamil Nadu. Facial performance and expressions is integral to that dance. It's an absolutely unmatched level of technical skill and actual performance through the dance, which is something very few seem to achieve, and something which I know Madhuri Dixit is particularly good at with the camera and the screen. But what Vijayanthamala achieved was something to celebrate. A lot of people suggested visiting Ajanta Ellora caves because they indicate the costumes and the dance maybe and the courtly style of this film. So I will certainly love to visit that if I get back to India, God willing. Let's see. Somebody very kindly suggested, after I mentioned I'd be interested to see a good AISHWARYA RAI performance, please react to Thoda Sa Pagla song, Friends of the Bride at Hindu wedding ceremonies. Often dance on this number. It's Aishwarya's first Hindi movie dance hit, and apparently this is indeed Aishwarya's debut as an actress. So thank you, Ashu Talkies, for that. And I've looked at this film. It's the film AUR PYAAR HO GAYA. Look at this. I really appreciate this poster. This is a sort of more American, I'd say, poster. It's very Hollywood of the classic era. You've got very nice cinematic camera focus on these two actors in a pose of romance. You've got quite Western, I think, typeface and colour and style. AUR PYAAR HO GAYA there at the bottom. Another phrase I can't read at the top. And you've got these clouds behind them, and the clouds are sort of red and orange and a little bit mysterious, maybe a little bit ominous. But it's very sun-drenched, and it reminds me of a sort of California-style Hollywood hit. Really nice poster though, very cinematic. It's a 1997 film, directed by Rahul Rawal, starring Bobby Deol and Aishwarya Rai. It's Rai's debut. Film's music was composed by Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, who I am familiar with and is a stunning performer, who also makes a cameo appearance in the film, a great artist. This is a good synopsis. Arshi's marriage is being arranged with a rich garment chain owner, Rohit. Rohit's parents claim their son has never forgotten about Arshi after their first encounter as kids. Prior to finalising arrangements, Arshi finds out that one of her friends has committed suicide because her arranged marriage failed. She goes to spy on her soon-to-be husband to find out what he is all about. I like this kind of investigation into arranged marriage. This is an interesting subject to touch on, I think. Very interesting. The song itself is Thoda Sa Pagla Thoda Diwaana. This is a famous wedding song. Should we take a look? Oh, I love this shot. Very 90s. Good. Yeah, this is really big cinema. I've heard this singer's voice before with a very similar song. Did this singer do playback for Hum Up Gahen Kong? Wow. She's technically very good. Her eyes are absolutely stunning. Very cinematic. And it's all a set. Very nice set. Very good head movement. Wow. Really nice tune. Okay. And is this her friend? Is this her friend? I have some observations. Really big budget. That's what I'd say about it. It's really big budget. And it clearly reminds me of other films of the 90s where you have a big party and they're living this wonderful lifestyle and they're having a beautiful celebratory wedding. And I know that this is escapism, This is escapism for a lot of people. And that's one of the beauties of cinema, I think. It allows people to go into another world and forget their worries, leave them at the door, and they're watching other people go through incredible pageants and joys, and also to experience their own tragedies, and you can process some of your own worries and anxieties and pain through those tragedies on screen. I get that. I think I've been spoilt because I've been watching people like Madhuri Dixit and Vijay Malla and all these other wonderful performers, and I've seen other performances by AISHWARYA RAI. So I think I've got very high standards now, and maybe that's not what I should be approaching it with. But I think she's technically great, brilliant. She gives a really joyous, open performance. She's got a great presence on the screen and the camera, her eyes, and I love that moment at the beginning where the opening shot of her, after taking all those bits and covering herself up, you see her eyes and you're like, wow, it's such a beautiful moment. And obviously the cinematographer and the director knew exactly what they were doing with that. And that's a wonderful introduction, a really powerful shot. I think there isn't much depth to it. I think it's very colourful. It's on a big budget set. Obviously the sky is just a pitch black set behind the house and the brightly coloured trees and the lights and things. So it is very theatrical in that sense. They're all dancing very theatrically. I think it lacks spirit in some sense. And maybe perhaps I'm being unfair. You can tell me on the comments. But there's a couple of layers to it. But it's essentially a dance performance, and it's just expressing joy, and it's expressing this great celebration at this wedding. I'm curious to know if that is her friend who will then do a terrible tragic thing. I think something else about it is interesting, is that it reflects an aspiration for a very wealthy lifestyle, a high budget lifestyle that most Indian people may not, or at that time may not have had access to. And I think it's just very kind of showy. It's showing their wealth, it's showing jewels, and it's showing beautiful dresses, and it's showing a beautiful house and all these things. I just feel like if anything, it's kind of a lot of pressure for people to catch up to. You know, if they're going to have their own celebratory wedding, what are you going to spend to try and match a dream like that? I think that's just an observation, but I think it really reflects a lot of Bollywood films I've seen, and Hollywood films have reflected upper middle class or upper class lifestyle, which is like a sort of escapist dream for a lot of people. I just don't think it reflects a reality for most people. It is like a fantasy land. An observation I'm just sort of coming to now, really, and I think that this has its place, but it's clearly in the realm of escapism, and it's clearly in the realm of show and theatricality. There isn't much reality to it, and I didn't get much sense of character from her or much storytelling. It was a dance performance, and the singer was stunning. The song was really fun and catchy. Apparently it's Asha Bhosle, which makes complete sense. It's a very catchy tune. It's very fun, and I think it's a very fun dance actually as a choreography for people to do at a wedding. Simply on that one note of joy, joy, joy. If you're doing it at a wedding, that makes perfect sense. But I didn't see any story. Yeah, is that controversial? But guys, let me know if there are more interesting performances. I've obviously seen AISHWARYA RAI's performances in Devdas, and there's a lot more depth to that. What other films? I know this is her debut in 1997. What other films could I possibly look at that might shed more light on this kind of subject, or maybe from this film? I know we've got Noura Fateh Ali Khan in the film, and also on her performances. Let me know. This is interesting. This is really interesting. Wow. Wow, wow. I mean, it's very hard to follow Vijay Malla. That's all I'm saying. But she's technically brilliant. She's technically very good, and her presence is iconic. Her eyes, her face, her expression is iconic. All right. I love you all. I thank you all. I appreciate you all. I am your Brit reacting to Bollywood. I will at some point, I hope and pray, visit the Ellora Ajanta caves. Chin chin, cheerio.